I was trying to buy a home this year, these are the things as a lender I would tell you to focus on to make sure you have the best chance of getting approved. So the first thing is credit. Whether you're looking to buy in a month or a year, you need to be on top of your credit and know what's going on with your credit. I always recommend every single year getting your credit report. You can go to freeannualcreditreport.com. Get it for free. It will be a hard pull, but you need it. You need to be able to check through your entire report because it's going to show you a few things. It's going to show you anything new that got open, which is important. You want to make sure something didn't get opened that you weren't aware of. It's going to show you everything that got closed. So if you believe you closed an account or paid off an account, you'll be able to see that it's closed. And it will show you any collections, where they're at on your credit score, or any new collections that popped up, because sometimes you may not even be aware of them. And you may say, well, how would I not know a collection occurred? Most of the time, yes, you're going to get things in the mail. You're going to get phone calls. But I have seen quite a few people that maybe with a certain cable company, they thought they returned the box when they moved. The cable company didn't record that it was returned, and they sent it to collections for like $100. And most people were unaware that it happened. So it's not always a guarantee, but it is really important that you know what's going on. That way you can fix any credit issues. The other thing I highly recommend is downloading the MyFICO app. That's another free app that is going to help you track your credit score. It's not going to hard pull you constantly, but it's going to help you track it to know where your score is, things that are happening to your score, if you're paying down balances, opening up new cards, collections, etc. And that's a really good one because it's actually looking at your true FICO score like we as lenders have to use instead of Credit Karma, which is not real. It doesn't use FICO score, so it's not really helpful. But that's a really good credit monitoring system for you as well to make sure you know exactly what's happening with your credit and the fluctuations. It will always be super important, though, that you are tackling credit items to be able to be approved. So I always tell people, check ahead of time. If you're looking to try to bring up that credit score, you could look at becoming an authorized user on someone else's card who's using their card wisely, and you kind of piggyback off of them. Or you could look at if you have credit cards with high balances versus what you can take out. So let's say your credit limit is $3,000 and you're running a $2,900 balance. That's considered overutilized. And so you could look at paying down those that are the highest for the balance to the credit limit. So if you've got a credit limit of $1,000 and you've got $5 on it, that's not what's bringing your credit down. It's the one that has the highest balance versus the credit limit. So it's the utilization. So focus on those first. You know, you'll hear a lot of analysts talk about the snowball effect and this and that. And that's if you're trying to get rid of debt faster. Yes, if you're trying to work on credit, that's a different journey and how you tackle that credit. So credit's always going to be number one, first and foremost, to try to make sure you're on top of. Second would be saving money. Buying a house will always be expensive. There is no way around that. Let's say you get a down payment assistance grant, or you're doing USDA with no down payment, or a VA loan with no down payment. That's amazing. You will still have money that has to be brought. There are closing costs associated with closing on a loan. So you have attorney fees, lender fees, taxes that you pay at closing. You may have HOA fees. You have your appraisal that you have to pay for, your inspection that you have to pay for, and your earnest money that you have to put down. So there is no such thing as a free loan. They will always be expensive, even if you're not bringing the down payment. So you need to be prepared to save, and you can't assume that you're going to qualify for a down payment assistance program or USDA or even a VA loan technically. So you need to be saving for this down payment, either in your checking account, savings account, utilizing your 401k, which is perfectly fine, or talking to family members who you think may be able to give you a gift fund to help. We talk a lot about like graduation gifts, wedding gifts, and all these things for the, millennials and below. I think those gifts are soon going to become gift funds for down payments towards the house, because that's really what's going to be the toughest affordability wise. But you've got to be really budgeting. You need to sit down, truthfully go through your last 90 days of bank statements and be highlighting or denoting or adding up every single thing that you spent money on that was not a necessity. And yeah, that sucks. It doesn't feel good. It feels annoying because it's like, well, I don't want to give up doing everything fun just so I can buy a house. I get that, but a house is an investment. You're investing in yourself and your longevity of assets and equity. So it's going to take money, and we've got to stop spending on other places where we can to save some of that money for a down payment. People ask me, well, how much should I typically save for a down payment? If you're a first-time home buyer, anywhere between 3 to 3.5% will be your average down payment. If you're not a first-time home buyer and you've bought within the last 5 years, then that would be usually your 5% down. Could be less, just depends. But you do need to be prepared and have some saved, or have a plan. Again, be prepared to use your 401k or whatever it may be. This third one may seem odd to say, but we need you to work. We need you to work a lot. If you're in a salary position, it's always the easiest when we look at income for you because your income is going to be the same every single paycheck. So there's nothing you can really do about it. I mean, you could work less, you could work more, you get paid the same. So that's not as helpful. But if you are an hourly employee, we are going to have to look at the average amount of hours you've worked. So it is so important if you're trying to get qualified that you are working consistently as much as you can. If you are at a full-time job and we see that you're only working 31 hours a week, that's all we can qualify you on. So you have to be thinking about how much income do you truly have versus what's your income potential. And are you willing to continue that as well? Because to be able to afford homes nowadays, you really do truly have to be working 40 hours for most individuals. So work as much as you can. If you're someone who typically works overtime and has consistently worked overtime, I would not suggest just stopping working overtime right before you're going to apply for a home. We're going to have to stop counting that overtime if we see you're no longer receiving it. If you're someone who typically gets bonuses, it's important to start talking to your supervisors of, are these going to be guaranteed bonuses? Are we going to continue to get these this year? To know ahead of time how much your income really is going to be for you to bet on. And one of the most important steps you should be following if you are trying to buy a house this year is reaching out to a lender ahead of time. Do not wait until it is Saturday morning and you want to go see houses with a realtor to try to get pre-approved. That's the same as walking onto the car lot, finding the car you love, and then going, how do I afford those? Can I buy this? That's not usually your best tactic. So talking to a lender early, we are the ones who are going to be able to review your situation, give you the advice that you need, give you the game plan that you need if you're not ready, or tell you if you are ready. Maybe you thought it would be a year before you could buy it, and you actually could buy now if that makes sense for you. So getting in touch with a lender, an actual person, not an online like Rocket Mortgage website, it's not super helpful, but getting pre-approved early.